Hello. So it's about a minute to 7. I thought I'd get started just so people can start to join us, see that we're going live, answering questions tonight on hypnotherapy. So as soon as you join me, just give me a like or say hello, whatever you'd like. Let me know that you're out there. Just wait for a moment or two just to let people join us and get involved. And if you do have any questions about hypnotherapy throughout the time I'm talking, please just type them away in the comment section, and I'll try and answer them as we go through. I'm going to be talking about a range of different things tonight to do with hypnotherapy, how it works, why it's something you might want to consider for yourself, and also why I became a hypnotherapist. And then I'm going to be looking at a few different scenarios that people come and see me about, specifically looking at stopping smoking, also thinking about weight control and diets, sometimes why people have challenges sticking to diets and losing weight and getting to where they want to be with that, and also talking about anxiety and also depression. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions around hypnotherapy, and that's what I really wanted to talk to you about first, was about hypnotherapy, why it works, why I believe in it, and how I've experienced results from it, and also how I'm helping my clients to get the results that they want. So hypnotherapy is a therapeutic technique which I use alongside other talking therapy techniques to really understand what it is that my clients are looking to achieve, the changes that they're looking to make, and also to help them to make those changes in a lasting and really positive way. It works using our subconscious mind, which is really where all of our thoughts come from. All of our behaviors, our patterns that we run are found from our subconscious mind. So we spend a lot of time using our conscious mind to think about things, to carry out our jobs, to have conversations with people. But the way we think and feel really does come from our subconscious, and this develops right from our very earliest childhood, how we're brought up, our experiences of relationships with our families and school, and all of those things do leave a lasting mark on us and change the way that we view the world. And sometimes those thought patterns don't serve us in the way that we would like, so we look to make changes, but unfortunately change can be quite a difficult thing to actually go through and make happen. So that's why hypnotherapy can help you to do that and to support you. Get a few people join us now. Hi Bridget, hi Sarah. Thank you very much for being with us. So we using hypnotherapy, we can access that really deep subconscious part of the mind to look to support the changes that you're looking to make. And the way in which I do that is to really spend time to get to know my clients, to understand a bit about their lives now and the experiences that they've had to date, because that can give us real insight as to how the patterns or things that they're looking to do have developed over that time. And just talking about things can be really therapeutic just on its own before we get into using hypnotherapy. Then we can use a range of hypnotic techniques to get to those changes that you really want. The state of hypnosis is a perfectly natural, normal state that we all as humans go into between 10 and 50 times a day on average. It is that state of mind where the most common example is where you're driving in a car that's familiar to you on roads that are clear on a clear day, and you get to your destination and you don't really remember how you got there. And that subconscious part of your mind is taken over, is there to keep you safe, and has just done everything that you need to do in order to arrive safely at your destination. And that happens very regularly throughout the course of our days. The other common example that's given about the hypnotic state is, imagine if you were watching a TV show or a play or a film and you're really absorbed into the story. You suspend some of your critical analysis of what is actually going on. you sort of forget the fact that you're watching actors performing lines that were written by a playwright or writer and that being directed. You really get absorbed into the story. And we can use that state of mind in hypnosis to provide suggestions of scenarios and different experiences in order to support any decisions that you need to make about changes that you're looking to make in your life. The hypnotherapist, in this case me obviously, will guide you through a range of different scenarios and different ways of experiencing the things that you think and feel about past memories or relationships, and perhaps even show you glimpses into the future by imagining different scenarios that might play out. And that can be really useful to getting an insight into the behavior that you have now, and also making those changes to give you positive versions of what life would be like if you did achieve the changes that you're looking to make. So actually going into hypnosis is a bit like a daydream type experience. Some of the myths and misconceptions around it are that you lose control. With hypnosis, for hypnotherapy, you remain completely in control at all times. You can bring yourself back to normal waking awareness anytime you like, and you just experience a very deep sense of relaxation. Many of my clients often like to stay in that hypnotic state even when the session has ended, because it is really deeply relaxing. But in this busy modern world that we live in, we very rarely get the chance to access that type of relaxation. Hopefully, as we get towards the end of my presentation tonight, I'll be able to guide you through a proactive relaxation exercise, which is broadly similar to being in hypnosis, and that can give you an example of how relaxed you can actually get when you just really think and concentrate on that. As I said, it allows you to experience things in a different way, which can provide deeper insight into your thoughts, feelings, and help you to make changes that you would like to happen. For example, we can look at the long-term consequences of a behavior pattern that you're running and help you to understand what the future might be like if you didn't actually change that, and then to look at an alternate version of the future, having made that change, and experience how good that would actually feel. Another thing that we can do is to adjust the impact of any traumatic experiences or memories that you've got from bereavements, from relationship breakdowns, and allow memories of anything that's really affecting you to start to be filed away, along with any other normal memories that you have. And that can be really powerful, because a lot of my clients that I work with, particularly for anxiety or depression or post-traumatic stress, have experienced very traumatic things either in recent times or in their childhood that are still having a very significant impact on them now. So if we can look to dial down the intensity of memories that they have of traumatic experiences, then that can be really therapeutic and allow them to move forward in their lives in a really positive way. In doing that, we can visualize, again, where our behavior patterns have come from. One of the most popular therapeutic techniques I've had with clients that have had perhaps a relationship breakdown or problems with various different types of relationships is something called revenge therapy, which is if you've there's somebody that's been in your life and now has left it, and you feel that they've treated you badly in some way, we can actually use that state of hypnosis to visualize a scenario where you can say whatever you need to say or do whatever you need to do to or with that person in order to communicate how they made you feel at that time. And again, that's something that can be really therapeutic and help people to move on. Like I said, if you've got any questions at any time, please just give me a message in the comment section. A few people have joined us. Bruce, Becky, hello, thanks very much for being with me. So the other thing that people often think about with hypnosis is the stage hypnotists. So Paul McKenna, Darren Brown, probably the most famous ones, and we see people doing things that they wouldn't ordinarily do, seemingly under the influence entirely of a hypnotist. First off, that isn't something that I really want to get involved in, because I really believe in the therapeutic benefit of using hypnotherapy in order to help people to make changes, to feel better, to reduce stress, anxiety, and all of these things that it is proven to be able to do. But a bit about how that works is, for people that go along to see a stage hypnotist, they're already believing at some point, at some level, that this could actually, that this will actually work, and that the hypnotist will be able to have some influence over them. That suggestion on its own, that belief, is almost halfway there in getting the hypnotist to be able to have that seemingly powerful influence over these individuals. The other part about it is that because there is no risk, there's no danger, other than perhaps making a little bit of a fool out of yourself on stage, then the mind is really quite up for that challenge, really quite up for that experience, because it knows it's just a bit of fun. With hypnotherapy, you would never ever do anything that is outside of your comfort zone. You can bring yourself back to normal awareness at any point. So the point I'm trying to make is that under stage hypnosis, people are really, interested in that experience, and it's only a very short-term scenario in terms of watching that performance. I've got a question from Bruce. Thanks very much. I absolutely believe hypnotherapy can be used for anyone, and that it can work and have some positive effects in order to help people to make change in their lives. I think the follow-up question to that is, can everybody be hypnotized? Hypnosis isn't something that a hypnotherapist or a hypnotist does to someone else. They're simply guiding them through a relaxation process and allowing that individual to, if they choose to reduce or to become much more relaxed and access that subconscious part of their mind. If the individual doesn't want to do that, then they wouldn't go into hypnosis under the influence of a hypnotherapist. They have to want to do it and to be ready, willing and able to do it. And as I said, it's not something that somebody can do to someone else. So that sort of leads on to, can I make someone bark like a dog? Well, possibly I could do, but I simply wouldn't want to. I've studied for a significant amount of time and changed my entire career to work with people, specifically because I was interested in working with people that suffer from anxiety and stress and depression. But that now is all encompassing of all of the different areas that a hypnotherapist can work with. So I hope that answers your question, Bruce. If there's any more, then please let me know. I think I've got another one from Bridget. Can't see what it is, but I shall pick that up. Is a type of therapy suitable for teenagers? I specifically only work with adults, people over the age of 18, for various different reasons, but hypnotherapy can be used with anyone. I had an inquiry today, which I've referred on to a specialist colleague for a child of just 6, whose parents were recommended to seek hypnotherapy for their child for some condition that their child was suffering. So it can be used with children and teenagers, but I would only work with adults myself, and that's really just a personal decision that I've made in order to do that. Hi Owen, thanks for joining me. So a bit about me. I worked in financial services, had my own business, and it started to become a bit stressful, and that stress started to accumulate, as these things can often do. And I sat down and really looked at what I was doing and decided that having experienced that stress, which then led me to suffer from anxiety and depression, I decided that I needed to make some pretty fundamental changes in terms of what I was doing with my career. I'd been to see various different therapists, counsellors, various different things over the years to try and help manage the symptoms of anxiety and depression that I was having. And hypnotherapy was one that really just cut through and allowed me to see some benefits really quickly, really change how I thought and felt and my emotional state. And, having experienced being very, very low, and then coming out the other side of that, I just thought this is absolutely what I want to do, because there still is although it's much better, there still is a level of stigma associated with mental health issues. There still is a perceived stigma, particularly for men, to talk about their mental health. Like I say, it much improved from when I started to experience these things, probably 7 or 8 years ago. but there still is that feeling that I'll be all right, I'll soldier on, I'll get through it, when there can be much easier, more efficient ways of dealing with problems that we can all face throughout our lives. So that's a little bit about me. I really wanted to get involved in helping people with these types of issues. And part of that, like I said, was hypnotherapy. The other parts that I found particularly effective were things around meditation, and also looking at various different coaching techniques, which is something that I now build in to the work that I do with my clients. So we're going to look at a bit about meditation towards the end. So a couple of questions that I've had since I posted the event on Facebook. One was about process. So what actually happens? What can you expect to happen when you come and see me? So I offer a holistic approach. So that means the first part of any session that I have with a client, probably the first hour, is really getting to know what the client is looking to achieve, what the changes are that they're looking to make, and also to get to know a bit about their history and a bit about their lives as that is today. So we touch on various different things: relationships, work, finances, childhood, all of these different things, because they're connected in some way in our lives. And that can often give us some insight into what we need to do, what we need to work together on in order to help that client progress and move forward. We would then look at different hypnotic approaches in order to support that client in the decisions that and the changes they're looking to make. Another question I had: does it work with trauma? So thinking about traumatic events, either in recent times or right back as far as childhood. And sadly, or it may be surprising to you, that all of my clients that I've seen so far with anxiety or stress or depression have all experienced varying degrees, varying different events of trauma at some point in their lives, which is, you could say, unresolved at some level, some emotional, subconscious level. And hypnotherapy is really great at getting to what that issue is, how that's still affecting the individual now, and looking at ways in which we can manage that down or away, or help the client to file it away and move on. That is something that's really key, is that the presenting issue, as we would call it, the reason why the client has come to see therapy, is often something at a surface level, but often I find that it can run quite deeper down to be something that both the therapist and the client wasn't expecting it to be. The next question that I've had quite commonly is: how many sessions will I need? So it really does depend. Generally speaking, for a client that's looking to stop smoking, that would be around 2 sessions. We normally work on a smoking cessation program over 2 sessions. We're going to look at diet and weight management in a moment. That is a much more complex issue. It might be more complex than it might first appear. So that can be a varying number of sessions. So I would work with a client in order to understand how many sessions would be needed. One of the key differences between therapy and hypnotherapy versus something like counselling is that we're making changes and getting insight right from the first meeting. So it can be, for want of a better word, a much more efficient, in terms of time, approach to making the changes that you're looking to make. Very common question, perfectly reasonable. How much does it cost? I'm currently charging £85 for a 2-hour intensive session. And because smoking is a very common issue that people seek hypnotherapy for, I'm currently offering that smoking cessation program, which is 2-hour intensive sessions for £135. So talking a bit about smoking, the holistic approach that we would use for that is to really understand a bit about how somebody comes to smoke cigarettes, why they started, what are the challenges that they have in order to stop, looking at some of the things that they believe around cigarettes. For example, a lot of people think that a cigarette helps them to relax. Well, the impact of smoking or taking in nicotine into the system is it increases the heart rate, increases blood pressure, and is a powerful stimulant. So it is actually increasing the levels of stress Often when somebody is working in a stressful environment, for example, and then they take that 2, 4, 5 minute break and have a cigarette, and they go and stand outside, they stand away from their work, then that what they're actually getting the relief from is the stress of the work environment, for example. So going outside, stepping away, being away from that environment is where the stress relief is coming from. The mind is then associating the stepping away from the desk, going for the cigarette, and the cigarette being the cause of, or the thing that's helping them with their stress relief, when it is actually causing there to be more stress in the body. So in hypnotherapy, in hypnosis, we're looking to try and break those connections between the smoking of the cigarette and the stress relief that they're getting from stepping away from their desk and the work environment. And we'll also be looking at the potential long-term impacts of continuing to smoke, health impacts, the financial impact, in quite finite detail. Smoking, I used to be a smoker, is very difficult to stop without getting some sort of support, and hypnotherapy is really powerful in highlighting the impact of smoking and supporting that decision for somebody to stop smoking. So if you've any questions on stopping smoking using hypnotherapy, please do get in touch, drop me a message, and we can explain more about how it can work for you specifically. The other area that I've been working very frequently since I started in hypnotherapy is around diet and weight loss and weight control. Yeah, and as I said a moment or two ago, it's a really complex issue because unlike smoking, we all will still have to eat. Smoking, we can absolutely stop dead on that day and not have to worry about that anymore. But eating is very different because we'll continue to have to eat. So we need to really understand the impact of the foods we eat, the patterns that we have with food, and some of the beliefs that we have around it. And the patterns that we have with food and our beliefs around food, they start at our very early stages because we depend on our parents or caregivers to feed us, and we depend on them for our very soul from the very early stages. And we absorb and we get from them their beliefs around food. Food, we can use food to change our mood. So if we're feeling stressed or feeling low or whatever, we'll reach for the chocolate, and that will have some sort of effect on our mood. But we're using food in a way that isn't for its intended use. Food is simply fuel for the body as opposed to it being a mechanism to change our mood. These patterns that we develop with food can be rooted really deep into our subconscious. So we need to look at those very sensitively, very delicately, to make sure that we understand where these things come from, and then look to support the client through any changes that they need and want to make in terms of their diet. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about food too, particularly nowadays, because food contains so many different chemicals and additives, and I just wanted to talk through some of those because it can make diet very, very difficult. For example, sugar is contained within a lot of processed food nowadays, and sugar is an incredibly powerful, very addictive substance. There's been tests after tests on the impact of particularly white refined sugar on the body, and it's proven to be a highly addictive chemical. And if you look at any processed food that you eat that comes in a packet or a jar, more often than not, it will contain some sort of sugar. If you're eating that constantly, then you will easily become very much addicted to it. And that can make making changes to your diet, eating a more healthy diet, much more difficult because your body will naturally crave the food that you've eaten before. The other chemical that crops up in a lot of processed food is MSG, or monosodium glutamate. This is the chemical that's in Pringles, which literally makes you not be able to stop once you've popped. It's an incredibly addictive chemical. And if you put the two things together with sugar and MSG, it means that you will actually be craving food because of their addictive qualities. So hypnotherapy can work to understand the patterns that you're developing, and also to help deal with the cravings for certain types of food that contain these additives. The other two additives that are in food, which I think are really important to consider, or the effects of food that we eat. First off is things like chocolate, which trigger a hormonal response, a serotonin response, which is the chemical that the hormone that is released in the mind and into the body that is the same as you get with the feelings of love. So, for example, if you eat chocolate to improve your mood, which contains a lot of sugar and triggers this hormone response, it can be a really powerful reaction that you get in the body. If you're trying to lose weight or control your diet or eat better things, something like chocolate has these very far-reaching impacts on the body, and therefore can make it quite difficult to make the changes that you're looking to make. And then finally, artificial sweeteners. So things like Diet Coke, we're told, contain absolutely no calories and no sugar, but they contain a lot of artificial sweeteners, which the body can't interpret as anything different other than sugar. So it may still have the same impact in terms of triggering the body's ability to digest food and convert them into energy rather than fat in exactly the same way. I think I have another question from Lisa. Do you do therapy for phobias? Absolutely. Yes, we are working with a few clients on arachnophobia because it's a difficult time of year if you suffer with arachnophobia, because there's lots of spiders about. But yes, I work with clients on their phobias. So yeah, please do get in touch if you want to talk about that some more. So any questions on weight loss and controlling your diet, then please do give me a shout. So just to finish up before we try that relaxation exercise, I'm just going to talk briefly about anxiety and depression. Okay, Lisa, thanks for that. We can definitely talk about that. Right, so anxiety and depression. So this is, again, just based on my own experiences, is something that I really wanted to help people with, because it isn't something that it's an illness. It's a recognised illness by the World Health Organization, in the same way as a cold or as diabetes is. It is an illness, and you can recover from it, but it does require some management. As we said earlier, there's a significant improvement in the stigma attached to talking to mental health. There's still quite a long way to go. Having anxiety or having depression isn't the same as being anxious or being depressed, and that's quite a subtle difference in terms of the language that we use. Anxiety are the same feelings as being anxious, but it's a continual ongoing disease or a condition where somebody is unable to stop the thoughts or feelings or symptoms of being fearful or worried. Similarly with depression, if you feel sad at the result of a bereavement or a relationship breakdown or whatever it might be, and that feeling of depression, of being depressed, continues for a prolonged period of time, and that then affects everything else that you do in your life, then that is an entirely different scenario where everything then becomes overwhelming and difficult to manage. The anxiety and depression are medical diagnoses that we often get from a general practitioner or other medical professional. Because I offer a holistic approach to therapy, what I'm most interested in is how my client is actually experiencing these things, what is actually going on for them, how they actually think and feel about the conditions that they have. We can use hypnotherapy to get a much greater level of insight into what has caused these illnesses, and we can also use it to build in coping strategies and to develop ways in which they can get better and recover. Often the symptoms of anxiety and depression are the subconscious mind way of offering some sort of defense mechanism against future traumatic events. So subconscious mind will use whatever it has at its disposal in order to keep the individual safe. That may be that it manifests symptoms of depression, of anxiety, in order to almost lock down that individual at home to prevent them from going about their normal day-to-day life. in order to try and prevent any future traumatic event happen, which I know sounds quite counterintuitive, but it really does have an almost subconscious positive intention to try and keep that individual safe. So as I said, I use a holistic approach. So if you go to a GP, they'll often prescribe some medication in order to change the brain's chemistry in order to help with the symptoms of anxiety, of depression. And that's fine, but it doesn't help the client with their thought patterns, their behavior, their environments, their relationships. And that's really where I come in to help a client with those types of things. So we can really understand where these symptoms of anxiety and depression have come from and really help them to move on. Something I'm really passionate about. So if you know someone that's having a tough time, that is becoming more withdrawn, or they're not sleeping, or their behavior has changed, and you think they might be experiencing anxiety or depression, then please do encourage them to at least have a quick chat with me, just to see how I might be able to help them to get back to where they want and need to be. So thanks very much for that. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about tonight. Let me just have a quick look through, see if anybody has asked any more questions. I don't think so. No. Is this working? Yes, I think so. So what I wanted to finish up with was an experience of a proactive relaxation, which is in fact a type of a meditation exercise. Now, meditation has connotations of something being very spiritual. It certainly does have its roots in things like Hinduism and Buddhism and in yoga. But what really interests me is some of the science behind it. That in taking perhaps 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so each day in order to relax the body and mind completely, to stop any information, we're constantly bombarded with adverts and information, 24/7 rolling news. What we can do is we can allow our experience to change, to really focus on ourselves, to spend a bit of time working on our own emotional state. It's proven to balance our hormones in our body, including reducing the stress hormones in the body, such as cortisol. It can strengthen and develop pathways in the brain, particularly ones that are associated with happiness. It improves our cognition, it reduces blood pressure, and it can reduce significantly the symptoms of anxiety. So if this is something you want to try and get involved with, I'd be really excited to share it with you. It takes about 10 minutes or so. If you've got a set of headphones to hand, then you might want to plug those in, just because that will help to stop noises from outside interfering with the exercise. And it's really simple. What we're trying to do is just give ourselves a bit of time in order to feel much more relaxed and a little bit less stressed. So if you're ready, what I'd like you to do is just to find yourself somewhere comfortable to sit down, and to get yourself nice and comfortable, back supported, perhaps in your chair. If you can, feet flat on the floor. Try not to cross your legs or your arms. Perhaps place your hands on your lap or to your sides. And then just to find a spot on the wall opposite you, and just imagine the area the size of about a pound coin. And just gaze at that spot on the wall. And if you find that your eyes wander off, you can just bring your awareness back to that spot on the wall. And just as you do that, I want you to start to bring your awareness to your breathing. Just start to breathe in through your nose to the count of 4. And then out to your nose to the count of 7, just allowing that exhale to be ever so slightly longer than the inhale. And just as you do that, just really bring your awareness to that sensation of the rising and falling of your breathing. Knowing that this goes on all day. in your body, and it happens automatically. And you don't really need to give it any thought, but you'll find bringing your awareness to your breathing can really just help you to slow down, to take stock, to relax more deeply. And just carry on with that breathing pattern as you keep your awareness with your eyes focused on the wall, not staring too intently, just relaxing, resting, taking this time just to experience something slightly different, something new. And just when you're ready, I just want you to gently close your eyes down. You'll still be able to hear what I'm saying. Be able to hear the sound of your breathing. Being able to hear any noises that are going on wherever you are. Just reminders that day-to-day life is carrying on. But in this time, this experience, you can just relax. Just taking some time for yourself as you become aware of your breathing at a more deeper level. That sensation, that rise and fall, the pause between inhale and exhale. And you'll notice that even with your eyes closed, you can still see, not in the same way as you would be able to with your eyes open, but in a different way, just as you would with a memory or imagining an event. You can get a sensation, awareness, an image, whatever it might be. And just using that creative, imaginative part of your mind, now you can bring your awareness to visualize the top of your head, the tiny muscles in your scalp. And then just by visualizing, by thinking, by bringing your awareness and your attention to the very top of your head, you can just let go, release any tension, any thoughts or pressures, just let them go. And almost like sand dropping out the bottom of an hourglass, you can guide that sense of relaxation all the way down through your forehead, down through your eyelids, those muscles in the side of your eyes. Continue guiding that sense of relaxation all the way down as you breathe more deeply, as you listen to the sound of my voice and the sound of your own breathing, letting any thoughts that you have just come and go, just allowing them to pass as you take this time just for yourself, just a few moments to become relaxed. And continue just guiding that sense of relaxation down now through the muscles in your neck and shoulders. Noticing whatever it is you notice about that sense of relaxation. Any changes. Not analysing it too much, just being aware, just noticing. Just allowing that to relax you more deeply down as you continue to guide that sense of relaxation down even further through your back, feeling comfortable, supported, feeling a sense of lightness or heaviness in the body. Whatever it is you find, whatever it is you're experiencing is absolutely fine. Any thoughts that pop up, any emotions, any feelings, just allow them to drift away. And for this experience, don't participate in them, just allow them to dissipate, evaporate away. Continuing to guide that sense of relaxation down through your abdomen, down through your arms, right down through to the tips of your fingers. Noticing, being aware of any changes, if the sensation of the air on the backs of your hands or on your fingers, wherever you notice it, just allow it to happen. And just build that sense of gratitude just to yourself for taking this time out for yourself to do something just for you, to allow all those tensions, pressures, thoughts of the day just to come and go. To find that sense of relaxation that's just right for you just now. There's nothing to do, nobody needs anything from you or wants anything from you other than to just help you to relax more deeply down and chill out. Continue sending that sense of relaxation all the way down through your lower body, feeling supported wherever you're sitting. Allowing any tension or pressure or heat or light or whatever it might be throughout the rest of your body just to drift away as if it's being pulled out of you into the seat where you're sitting. Just continuing to guide that sense of relaxation down through your upper legs and your knees, through your calves, and right through your feet to the very ends of your toes. And just visualize that your body is relaxing even more deeply down with every inhale. And with every exhale, you just let go of anything from today or from before that you don't need anymore. You can just let that go. And if thoughts pop up, ideas, things that you need to do another time, you can just allow them to come and go. You can just take the time for yourself to relax, knowing that this experience is just something that you can do at the end of each day just to unwind and let go of any tension or pressure. Just feel that sense of relaxation from the very top of your head down through your body to the very tips of your toes. And as you breathe in, just really enjoy that few moments of calm, of peace and of quiet. And in a moment or two, it'll be time to bring this experience to a really successful conclusion. And you'll be able to bring your awareness, as I count back now from 5, back to wherever you're sitting. 5, just becoming more aware of your physical self. 4, being aware of your surroundings. 3, noticing any lights or noises that there are in the room around you. 2, getting ready to open your eyes. 1, open your eyes. Take a nice big deep breath and a stretch. And really tempted to say you're back in the room, but I won't. So that's when you're ready. I just want you to bring your awareness back, bring your attention back to me just for a moment. That is an example of meditation breathing exercise that I teach most of my clients to do in terms of their managing stress and anxiety. It really can help to reduce those feelings, and taking 10 minutes a day for yourself just to relax I think is a really important thing to do. It sort of deals with taking action to do with our mental well-being. We often go to the gym or go running or eat healthily, but we often overlook our mental well-being, and I think it takes just around 10 minutes a day just to run through an exercise like that, just to de-stress and just balance and chill out a bit. I will be recording that separately and posting that, so if you do want to listen to that, take it away with you, put it on your phone, do whatever, then please do, with my compliments. I will hang around via Messenger if anybody's got any more questions about anything that I've discussed tonight. Getting near to the end of the time, And so I just want to really thank you very much for being with me tonight. Do let me know if you've got any questions, and hope to see you again soon. Considering doing more of these Q&As, so if there is anything you would like me to talk about in the future, or do more of those relaxation type exercises, then please just let me know and give me your comments. But until then, thanks very much for being with me. Look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers. Bye now.